is accountable to us, whether it's done through a clinic, whether it's done through a separate one. I know the fire department has a physician that they consult with.
They have someone on site?
No, contract.
Okay, because we would just reach out to like Quest.
Yes.
Build a relationship with Quest. They know, you know, we have forms that new associates would go to Quest and say, I'm here on behalf of Crafton Borough, I need to have a drug test. Quest would do the drug test and then only submit a positive or negative result.
I was gonna say, isn't there that Crafton
Yeah.
Medical, like right in the plaza?
We
That's
have
JDX down there.
Okay.
we have a contract with Quest Diagnostics now.
Oh, okay.
We use the Green Tree branch.
Do they, what I'm hearing here right now is, based on the police contract and the public works contract, the only ones that would get it would be Bob, Mary, and Marissa,
Jamie.
and Jamie.
And anyone new.
Well, here's my thing, and this is,
I think
I think the whole,
They do in the
everybody,
bargaining agreement.
I think everybody, police, anybody that's employed by the borough should be subject to random drug testing, everyone.
I think management
Yeah.
has that prerogative.
And to me, how it works where I work, I have a CDL. And I'd show up for work at 5:30 in the morning, and there's a guy sitting in there with his test kit. I mean, you don't get advance notice or anything like
Are you
that.
covered by a union at your,
Pardon?
are you covered by a union at
No.
your position?
No.
That's the
Well,
difference.
that's, right.
Well, see, that, to me, that's like ridiculous. If you're gonna have a
Jimmy, no, what
policy,
we've gone through.
so, you know, we ran into that problem
Yeah.
before, you know, with this
Now,
thing.
if you feel as though someone from a collective bargaining unit is under the influence of something at some point,
Yeah, that's right.
that's a different story, but, you know, you just do, they do have a drug and alcohol policy part of their collective bargaining, and I would hope that we would have bargained for some type of drug testing.
Well, I think that it should be mandatory. We have Public Works coming up this year.
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, we don't have one under the current
Right.
Teamsters
And this
contract.
only came up in the last couple of years, to be honest, Nina. This
Right.
has
We don't.
only come up. But it's an important matter that I think should be part of the upcoming thing as a no-trade item. You know what I mean, when you guys negotiate that. And the same with the police.
Well, we don't,
department.
let's just, let me be very, let's be careful here, right? We don't want to talk about negotiation tactics or issues or what we want to prioritize for the Teamsters at this meeting.
No.
The takeaway is that the police union has a CBA, the Teamsters has a CBA, and we're governed by that CBA, and we have an opportunity when it comes up for contract to change it. But with respect to our own employees, right, we get to define that. So I think as a group, the consensus is everyone should be tested, but in order to get everyone tested, actually has three different tacks to make, right? There's a tack for the police, there's a tack for the Teamsters, and then there's our own. What we're asking Nina to do is at least to iron out in stone what our own employees are gonna have to do. And that's gonna be part of our drug and alcohol policy that should be rolled up, Nina, into the overall employee handbook. Because we've been working on this employee handbook for the better part of a year. You know, there's been a draft, you know,
8 months.
8 months, almost a year. But we should finish both of those, I would suggest, at the same time, right? It shouldn't be that hard to finish the employee handbook at this point, and the employee handbook should be, a piece of it is the drug and alcohol policy.
Right now, I personally have not seen the employee handbook or the draft yet, but, you know, we should have a sexual harassment policy in there. We should have a,
I think we have one, but it's over here, and there's another policy that's over here. It's just a matter of putting it all together and making
yeah,
sure it
we
makes sense
definitely,
legally.
like, a non-solicitation policy, like, there are a lot of things that should go into that handbook.
Is there any way possible we can set, like a date goal for this? I feel like we've been talking about employee handbook for at least as long as I've been on.
April 15th.
April 15th is the date. Okay, all right, good.
Is that acceptable to you, Nina?
You said April 15th? Absolutely.
Okay.
Excuse me.
How about the 14th?
That's.
There is one alcohol and policy in effect now that they instituted 2 years ago. It's strictly just for full employees. Somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that policy is in place right now.
That's a policy for new hires, but it's not random during the time that they're here.
Is there a copy of the draft that we can look at?
Well, that was one of my next questions. So Nina, April 15th should be the date we have something decided. So I'd like you to back away from that date and decide when the draft should come to us, right, for review, so we can actually have something done on April 15th. I don't want a draft at April 15th, I want the final copy at April 15th, both the employee handbook and the drug and alcohol. Now, if that date, if you find out that date's not gonna work, pick the date, right? I don't much care what the date is, I just want a date, and then I want to back away from that date to say, what are the interim deliverables that are actually gonna get us to something finished at that date?
Okay,
Is this a draft that was provided in the packet?
It's
Yeah,
just for
that's
discussion.
just the drug and alcohol. He's talking about overall the entire employee handbook.
Employee handbook's about 320 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like a lot, but we'll see what, see if it's all good.
Or almost if we could have it in segments, that would be digestible
Yeah.
and not on Friday.
I mean, if
before
you,
the
yeah,
Monday meeting.
if you decide that it is such a daunting amount of document to read, the 320-page employee handbook plus however long this is, you may want to break it up. And I would think, as a consensus, the drug and alcohol one, I think is paramount, right? If we have to prioritize and pick which one to get done first, let it be that one. But let's still shoot to have them both done by the 15th.
And it doesn't have to be 300 pages. I mean, we should be able to get an employee handbook down to like 50 pages, 70 pages. You know,
You would, yeah,
it's,
you'd like to think so, sure.
no, we will get it.
Okay. I welcome that.
And then I also mentioned about the employee assistance program. So maybe you do, maybe you don't know what an employee assistance program is, but it is a professional and confidential counseling service to help you and/or your family address personal concerns, relationships, and life issues. Typically, an employee assistance program is part of your employee benefits package, like if, I'm not sure who we have, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they offer an employee assistance program. It's a separate 1-800 number. It's not part of your psych and mental health benefits. It's totally separate. You can call them to talk about divorce. You can call them to talk about debt. You can call them to talk about, you know, raising stepchildren, whatever, anything that is causing you to need some feedback. You can, it's usually like a couple of phone calls are free, and then if they feel that they need to see you in person, typically your copay covers it, and the rest you pay out of your own pocket. There shouldn't be any cost, because it's part of your employee benefits. So whatever that, it's negotiated in with your employee benefits. So I haven't seen that, so I'm not exactly sure, but the only thing that the policy that we would have to put in the handbook would be to refer them to their employee, that they know that that benefit is available to them. And you want to talk about the Comcast agreement?
Well, before that, everyone has just the matrices of cleaning services, telecommunication, which is form, phones, we said social media, I'm going to change it to mass communications. We accepted proposals. I'm in the process of doing some cost benefit on those proposals. We'll recommend to council at the end of this month what I would consider the successful proposals. We do need to change our phone system. Our lease right now with the current provider runs out in the middle of March, I believe. So we need to change the hardware on that, and we're looking at service provider as well. So we have about 5 or 6 different proposals on that. So anyhow, those are just shared with you. The last meeting, I told you we would do that at this meeting, and it would be recommendation at the next meeting for awards.
With the, I'm just looking at the matrix with the cleaning bids, and if I got this, you tell me what page, I'm on page 18. 18 of the committee items, PDF. So, is there, I noticed the locations, I noticed the locations. Do we give, is there any kind of scoring or evaluation for Crafton-based companies?
No.
Or in the past, we've never done that? So we've
I don't know
always.
what we've done in the past, but you look at the numbers, it's a $220 difference.
Right, and that's why I'm wondering, are we purely on price, or we, you know,
I think price for our budget would be the overall
Okay.
principle at this point.
okay,
I'm asking all 3 of them to sharpen their pencils.
okay.
So are these just random people that heard that we were looking for a cleaning team, and they.
We went out a few
submitted.
months ago and we asked for proposals from word of mouth, people that I know that work in other municipalities, kind of like that. We did not publicize, we did not advertise.
Should we?
No, we don't have time.
Okay. Is it protocol to advertise these kinds of services, or?
You advertise in the Suburban Gazette, you don't get anything from that.
Are we on contract? Is the contract lengthy, or is it just, basically an at-will contract with these folks?
It could be at will, it could be whatever we want it to be. It could be 2 years, 1 year, it could be month to month.
Okay,
It's
so,
open-ended. The current provider, we had PK Cleaning. I talked to them and they elected not to supply a quote because I think they're downsizing or getting out of the business.
okay, so I see that it says 3 days, and for the current cost, 3 days. And then the new,
2 days.
are 2 days, is that where we're going with, is 2
Yes,
days?
It's not 2 full days, that's 2 days a week with a cleaning service will come in here for a number of hours and do what it has to do.
Okay. But, so it's 2 times a week?
Yes, 2 times a week.
Okay.
That includes the magistrate's office as well. The mass communication, social media, kind of know where we're going to go with that. I just need to check our budget and see what we can afford. Again, that is to get information, messages out to those in our jurisdiction that chooses to communicate through social media, whether it be Twitter, whatever it might be. Ways to communicate emergencies, road closings, water breaks, you name it. So over time, that will certainly build. And we are, by the way, going to come out with a newsletter, I think in early March. The deadline is at the end of February to have a copy all completed. And one of the items on there will be a survey among our residents. Do you use social media? What do you want to use it for? What do you use? So we get some type of a pulse of what's out there right now.
I'm all for social media, but here's my concern though. I know that we're talking about it's a great way to communicate to our residents for emergency situations, that what's going on in the community, that type of stuff. Who are we going to designate when the negative tweets come in,
And unless there's another suggestion, we have a contract with Holt Wet Design. I've already spoken with them, they've given me a proposal. They would be the traffic cop, if you will, to filter out all the negative.
That just really,
At
I
this
don't
point.
know, it really.
We don't have staff time to do that.
No, we don't, and even though it is a great communication tool to get out there for those that are on Twitter, there's so much more negativity than there is positive, and one person says one thing, and then before you know it, it's just,
Slant
It's
City.
24/7 monitoring is
It
what you're
is.
looking at with that,
It
and
is.
it's very,
and it's somebody that needs
Yeah.
to know, be in the know, that isn't just gonna, emotionally retweet or answer tweets, and isn't going to their own opinion, and I'm
it can't be a
concerned.
bias.
No,
And that's the thing that alarms me, because at the high school, somebody made an account, and it was just, it literally was a slam site. And it was up for about 24 hours before Twitter took it down themselves, because people reported it so negatively. But a lot of damage can be done in 24 hours, and that's what has held me back, with social media.
Is there, I'm sorry, Tracy.
No, go ahead.
Is there a way to post stuff on these Twitter, Facebook, whatever, without, information out, no information in?
No.
In other words,
Once
like,
it's out.
you tell there's a road closing, and then, all of a sudden somebody gets on there and decides to slam the road department because the road, so, that's what is a concern.
That's what'll,
and that is definitely what will happen, and there will be no way to.
There's no way to block anybody
That's what was my question.
to block.
from somebody to, like, if you have
Well,
like a.
none of the social media, like the Facebooks and the Twitters, none of those you can. But that doesn't mean that we can't come up with a mechanism that is just outwardly facing, right?
Blackboard Connect is what we're looking
you know,
We have
Okay.
a
so
demonstration on
there's,
that.
there's other companies, there's other marketing firms that will keep this record of information of people's addresses, email, you know, phone numbers, when they want to receive text, they want to receive email, you know, and not have it be social where it's a back and forth, but it's
Yeah.
strictly a blast, right? We want to let people know there's a water main break on Crafton Boulevard and these houses are affected. Because we're not finding that people go to our website to see that information there. We want to communicate out to them. We don't really necessarily want them to communicate back to us through that same mechanism. So I don't think the Facebook and the Twitter are a good avenue for that, for all the reasons you just mentioned. But it doesn't mean we have to give up on coming up with some electronic way of communicating.
Absolutely, and I'm all for, you know, getting the information out to the residents. I would just hate to really open it up for us.
Yeah, so let's start talking about this social media as being a outward communication from the government of Crafton, right, to our residents, notifying them of, you know, important things in a timely fashion, right? We're not looking for feedback coming back in that mechanism. They can come to meetings, right? We have public meetings, they can come, we have citizen comment. They have an avenue, right? Right now, we don't have a great avenue out to them because we know that the website's not great. And that's what we've been using in the past, and this is not working.
You know, the COG meeting is next Thursday, so I'll bring that up as, you know, seeking to find what are other boroughs using, because there's 18 members there, so I know there are some that are looking in the same aspect. So I will make myself a note to make sure that we, you know, ask at the COG what's going on with social media, how are people getting blasted out there, so.
And, you know, just last comment, there are forums out there everywhere for everybody to talk about everything, and that's fine. I just wanna be sure that if we do go ahead with a Twitter type account, that we do have someone to respond to those issues, you know, to those comments, because regardless of how much you try to block and block and block, it's gonna, something's
Yeah,
gonna.
I don't think we're looking to get there, right? I mean, if this became that, I'm not saying this didn't become that, it did, but it's not what we want, right? We don't have the staff to respond to negativity.
So can we no longer sign up for email alerts on our website? Did I miss something? I can no longer see where that would be.
On the website?
Yeah.
That's still effective. We use the crime alerts and borough alerts.
It used to be in a prominent.
Maybe we just need a web
There it is,
page
yeah.
overview, or, you know, like.
Yeah, maybe we just need an update.
Right, like a do-over, right.
A little bit
Make it more
easier.
fun, make it
Well, but
more.
the problem with the website though is unless it's a daily destination site, you're not gonna get near real-time critical information. Right? I don't care
No,
how
but
good the
like
Crafton
the-
site is, I'm not checking it every
Like,
morning at 8 o'clock.
She's gonna go on there right now and sign up for
Well,
alerts,
I think
and
that-
she would get an alert.
I think the email blast works certainly well with the crime alert. I mean, I get those, right? And they come out to my email because, you know, I've signed up for it. So if the website gave you an opportunity to sign up for those types of things,
Right.
right, that it would work.
It does.
We
Currently,
still-
we have about 700, but we went through the list. A lot of them never confirmed back. So they're not getting the alerts because they didn't follow through. Once they got the email, they didn't get it.
Why is it necessary to confirm?
So somebody didn't sign up for somebody
Proposed
else.
email.
Got
For
it.
practice.
And then some have removed their names, and so out of
So maybe we
700,
could
we
look
really
at
don't
that.
have 700.
And maybe that's something that we can put out in the last email, or last
Mhm.
newsletter that's gonna be delivered to the constituents, because we need to be informed that this is available, at least this, you know, this part of information is available,
Yeah, I
the
believe
crime
Jamie
and
has to
traffic
start
stuff.
working on
Yeah,
that.
we're working with that.
Okay, good.
Deadline's the end of February.
You got a situation where a shotgun email goes out to everybody that's signed up. Bam. Road closure, bam, everybody gets the email.
Typically, people have the email on their phone now.
Right, exactly.
Right.
We are right now leaning toward Blackboard Connect for Government, and hope design as a marriage of the two. And I think that's going to answer a lot of your questions. Again, I'll have a recommendation. Maybe this is the last one I will recommend, since we need to take a look at it a little bit further. As far as Comcast, we got a bunch of gobbledygook here. We're entering into another Comcast agreement, 10-year agreement. The first one was 2004. That expires obviously this year. We're looking to renegotiate. Our attorney took a look at it. I think he took a look at it a little bit too closely. There's a lot of small stuff in there. I am meeting with Comcast next Friday morning to hammer out what I hope will be an acceptable agreement. Essentially, we increased the franchise fee from 3% to 4%, and that was over a 10-year period. So, which means we'll probably receive, as a municipality, an additional $25,000 in franchise fees. This is just shared with you. There are some differences the attorney did pick out, but again, between now and Friday, we're going to hash those things out. I just wanted you to be aware of it, so when it comes time to agree to it, we'll have a finished final copy. This will be a 10-year agreement.
Verizon showing interest?
Verizon's agreement was up in 2017. We discussed that with them in 2016.
I think that concludes our administration update, unless anyone has anything that they would like us to look into, or any comments.
Should protocol, I do have that motion crafted regarding the minutes. Should I just send that to Nina to send
Yeah.
voting next
So,
meeting?
yeah, why don't you, can you draft a motion for the next voting meeting to basically adopt the changes we discussed today about the meeting minutes? And then we'll just make it formal.
Do you already have one that you guys sent her?
I don't have an email address.
Nina at Craftonborough at something or other dot something or other.
For
Slash.
today, NinaCraftonCouncil@gmail.com.
Slash dot.
All right, Tom, finance.
Well, you don't really have too much year-to-date for 2014. What we got to do, though, is, at the last report, the manager, how can I put this?
Hell,
Huh?
hell.
Yeah, okay. The $54,000 we received from the water company, going into the road paving, okay? Pretty sure it was already in the budget to balance out the budget last year. Did we put it in there last year? Are you sure?
We just received it in January.
I know, but I thought we included that to balance that.
It's in this year's balance, this year's budget.
Now, the 54,000 didn't come until agreement with the water company until October of 2013.
So it's to balance this issue, but
It wasn't the balance, it was extra revenue.
extra revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm looking at is, we gotta look at all over this budget, all over the financial report, and find out any corners we can cut. One would be, I'm thinking the CMIT server company. I mean, we're paying an arm, leg, and a kidney for a server that, from what I'm understanding, everyone's complaining about. I mean, we've had no problems with it since we've got it. I think we have to.
The new
look at
server.
The one we have
What,
now.
are there complaints on records, like, because I haven't heard anything. Is anybody,
Yeah, what,
Is it,
is there frustration or complaints?
is there frustration over that server?
There's little glitches here and there, but here
It
and
was an initial transition from one server to the other early on that has since been resolved.
Is there anything recent, or, because I mean,
there.
just the copy, but copy is
They've set
not
that up.
server, right? That's,
Through the server, they're
Can you send the monthly reporting that CMIT Solutions sends to the administrative staff? So that everyone is aware of the monitoring and
What April was referring to is that once a month we meet as a staff with CMIT to review our activity on all the computers, the police, ourselves, where they intercepted any type of viruses. But yeah, we can send that out. It's about a 4 or 5 page report we give each month.
Now, from what I remember, we were paid, it came in at a real high fee for the cement company. And I'm pretty sure there has to be somebody out there a lot cheaper that will do the same job, if not better, and we can have the IT service system, the budget cut down on that.
I was actually, Tom, I was actually thinking the opposite when I was looking at what the cleaning fee cost. I think the cleaning fee is a factor greater than what our electronic monitoring fee was. So I was thinking, geez, if we're gonna cut anything,
I was
let's
thinking
cut
I
down
should
the
get
cleaning.
into the
I
cleaning
think the
company.
place is all that clean to begin with, right? But geez.
Well, we got a public
Sorry,
works
kids, I'm quitting my
department.
education
Wintertime,
job.
I know, so, I mean, I welcome the opportunity to cut, but I was like, if the CMIT is where we're cutting, we're not gonna save much, right? Maybe the cleaning is where we should.
Well, I'm just saying, we gotta go over this whole thing and look at cutting a lot.
One thing I was gonna ask you as an action item on the finance, it would be nice to know on a line item by line item basis, right? On the budget, what's discretionary and what's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Salary is
I put
not.
that together when I was finance chair a couple years back.
Well, I'd love to see that, so that when we're
You still
looking.
have it?
You have a template you can share?
Send it
Yeah,
off.
I mean, I think you're gonna find 3/4 or more is mandatory,
Right.
right? The
Right.
vast majority of it
There's
is
nothing to
mandatory.
do with it.
Yeah.
But there's gotta be a way to shave some dollars here and there.
There's gonna be some
Because we're-
discretionary.
Trust me, we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Sure, but I like to be able to refer to the line item, or when referring to contracts, we talk about so many numbers, I need to have that like back in my face, so
I
I
tell you
can
what,
see
I'm
what that
looking at
is.
these numbers, that's all I'm seeing anymore is numbers.
Right,
You know,
so if we
it's
can have
driving me
those, like,
nuts.
especially for, Fred, so that we can have that, this was the discussion, here was the proposal and so forth, so we can have those documents in front of us again, so that we can look at that, because otherwise, I'm just like, I don't remember what anything is at this point, because we've been talking about so many contracts renewals, so many, offers and things, because we're trying to modernize, so,
I think
I like
the
specifics.
IT backbone and infrastructure is probably one of the most critical things that we're spending money on, especially given if we are going to use turnkey solutions to find and implement a system for getting our tax money to us.
Oh, yeah, that's another
Well,
thing.
turnkey solutions, that's another thing, yeah. That's a win-win situation. I mean, it's not gonna cost us anything for this guy's coming
But they
in.
need the infrastructure
Right.
to operate, and
Right.
that has to be spot on.
And they have, anything they find, they're just gonna take a percentage of it. It's perfect. And it's just unfounded money out there that we don't know sitting there.
Is that something that administration would then put on as a motion, or is that?
I think we should handle that one
finance?
as finance.
Okay.
Ask them to give you a proposal.
That's fine. You can get a proposal, right? But, I mean, I'd like you to look at that as an element of finance, right? Because it's primarily revenue.
It's revenue coming in, right?
Yeah. Nina's got enough to worry about, right? Yeah.
Where is this monthly figure that we're paying this company to monitor our computer system? Where is that in here? How much do we pay them?
$525 a month.
It seems to me that when I was here, DEP came down here and did that for nothing.
Oh, no.
No, no,
DEP doesn't do anything for nothing. DEP was very expensive.
I mean, just fight this battle another time.
$490 a month, it's under two line items in there, one under police.
$490 a month.
And if you put that in perspective, like, we're pushing 700 on these proposals from cleaning companies.
But then we have to pay for, service calls, right?
Yeah, that's
Is
a
that
part of the
included in
monitoring.
four?
Included.
It's included in 490?
Yeah.
I thought sure there was a fee for something else, too.
Fees are doing
This
the
fee is
on-site,
backup,
Right.
yeah. But
$25
that,
a month.
yeah, that wasn't it. I mean,
And we
if,
rent the equipment from them, we didn't buy it, right? So we bought, sold. I
$1,250.
thought sure there was a rental fee in there somewhere.
no rental fee, it's just a service fee to monitor it. And the majority of that was the police.
No, it's
Right.
half a month, it's 245 for the police, and 245 for the ambulance.
What line item are we looking at? Is there a specific
Yeah, I'd
line
like
item
to
we're
look at
talking?
it, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know where it is.
I need somewhere to focus.
And
and
near the bottom, it says like.
What's the page?
410. 410.
The way I look at it, if there are other companies or other ideas or this or that, I would rather
Page 56.
have the information to look at instead of, so I can compare one with the other. If we're gonna keep going and saying, well, this, we can find this cheaper, we can find this cheaper, I mean,
At some point, you have to pay
Yeah.
value.
Is that the IT expense? It's, 410.321, I'm on page 56 of the Adams PDF.
I'm on page 56, but it's not there.
Is that the IT expense, the 410.321?
My page
We're missing
56 is
that.
all fire protection